A Time Between Times. Written and narrated by Mark Mitten. Chapter 2. Moving on. Open crevasses crisscrossed the glacier. Some were obvious, yawning wide, while others lay hidden beneath the snow. Breck had been this way many times before and avoided them easily, but there was one he couldn't avoid. The Bergschrund, the breakaway point at the ice field's edge where the glacier had long since shorn away from the mountain. As he searched for the best place to cross, the metal teeth on his crampons bit into the cold ice, making the sound unique to sub-zero temperatures. A hollow, soul-scraping sound, a creaking squeak. But he ignored it as he studied the other side, a steep slope of rock-hard snow and slick-as glass. The moonlight gave everything an otherworldly glow, except the crevasses, which were pitch black. And looking straight down, he knew the Bergschrund was an abyss, and it could swallow him whole, as the glacier had swallowed Kyle whole. But what lay below did not matter, only what lay above. Taking an ice axe in each hand, he took a deep breath and jumped. As he soared through the air, he swung his axe tips forward, slamming them into the hard snow as he landed to keep from falling into the depths. And it worked. He stuck the landing. Tilting his head, Breck looked upward at the night sky, which was absolutely brilliant. Each constellation seemed lost in a field of new stars that he had never seen before outside the Himalaya. The galaxy itself felt so close he could step into its folds and be gone forever. None of it seemed real, but it was real. Kyle couldn't be gone, but he was gone. The glacier grinded in a constant state of slow motion, and someone finally discovered his body, or what was left of it, after a decade of entombment in the deep blue ice. One day, Nikki received his battered helmet in the mail, and she made the long drive from Denver to Quandary just to give it to him, as a bitter reminder that her husband was never coming home. He swung his axes and climbed, and then the snow slope ended abruptly beneath a rock band, a short cliff, and he shined his headlamp across its gritty surface, trying to find the best route. It stretched upward, 50 feet high, the first of many such obstacles, and there was no way around it. Climbing rock with thick mittens was too dangerous, so he took them off, but kept his liner gloves on. He needed to move quickly, or his fingers would go numb. Breck holstered both axes in his harness and began to work his way from ledge to ledge. He recalled climbing this same cliff with Kyle, although they used ropes. Looking down between his feet, he studied the glacier far below, effervescent in the moonlight. The distance made his head spin. A pang of fear shot through his gut as his mind flirted with what might happen if he made a misstep, or slipped, or the rock crumbled beneath his grip. Keep going, he thought, and concentrate. Breathe in and breathe out. Right hand, right foot, left foot. When he pulled himself over the top, he crawled onto a wide snow-covered bench and lay there for a moment, resting. And while he caught his breath, he studied the mountainside terrain. Which way to go? Tall pillars of rock loomed high like a dark castle to his right. To his left, a steep flank of hard-packed snow swept upward at a near vertical angle. It ended beneath another rocky cliff bisected by a thin white ribbon of vertical ice. Above everything, the massive head wall loomed high, rising to the very stars. But doubt crept into his mind. Did he and Kyle climb the ice ribbon 10 years ago? Or did their route lead through the pillars? Conditions change year by year, he knew, and 10 years was a long time, and many things could change in 10 years into something completely different. And Breck had changed into something different too, and saw things differently, the entire world differently. He took off his pack. Besides his mittens, it contained a thin coil of mountaineering rope, an insulated water bottle, a half-dozen Cliff Bars, 2 Hershey bars, and 5 carbohydrate gels. The only other thing he brought was a long titanium ice screw hooked on his harness. No sleeping bag, no tent, no stove, only bare essentials. But moving light and fast was critical, and every ounce counted. While he ate a Cliff Bar, he shut off his headlamp to conserve the batteries. Sub-zero temperatures sapped their power, and he wasn't sure how long they would last. What would Nikki think if she knew what he was doing? Would she care? Would she worry? Would she wish he would die too? What would his brother Danny think? Or Jenny? But they didn't know. No one knew. Breck flexed his fingers. They felt warm again. He slung the pack on his shoulders and began angling towards the upper cliff. Climbing solo was dangerous. He was keenly aware of that fact, but he could move much faster than a roped team. It took time to set up belay stations and bivouacs. Plus, Kyle didn't have as much big wall experience as he did, so they took several days to ascend the south face, and even so, never reached the summit, though they did come close. Breck checked his watch. If he kept moving at this pace, he could be up and down Annapurna in less than 24 hours, an unthinkable feat in anyone's estimation, if he did not slip. When he reached the cliff, he turned on his headlamp and examined the ice ribbon, which was only 2 feet wide and wafer thin. But the cold night air had done its job, freezing it to the rock like epoxy. Delicately, he sunk his axes, one by one, and set his front points as gently as possible. But even so, the ice creaked beneath his weight. Halfway up, a light wave of snow washed over him from above, but it was only spindrift. It felt like sugar. The higher he got, the more narrow the ribbon became, until it finally petered out entirely, and Breck shined his headlamp back and forth but simply couldn't see a way forward. The cliff was featureless. He commanded himself, "Don't panic." And when he looked again, he spotted a flat, snowy ledge off to the right. But to get there, he would need to traverse a steep ramp, a slide into nowhere. The ramp was plastered with a thin layer of snow, the consistency of styrofoam. Would it even hold his body weight? If it suddenly sheared off, what was he doing? Honoring Kyle or trying to kill himself? Breck blocked out the questions, the fear of death, the fear of falling, and focused on each movement, each axe placement, each kick, each step. This was about one thing: moving on.